Hi there. Today I'm going to be using the Chanel Christmas 2014 makeup collection on my beautiful model Abby. We've already perfected Abby's complexion. I used the Vita Lumiere Loose Powder Foundation as well as the Perfecting Concealer. I gave Abby's face a little bit of contour and shape with the Chanel Soleil de Tan. It's a cream product that turns into a powder. So now we're ready to try some color. The first thing I'm going to do is start with my eye makeup. If you're doing a really dramatic eye, you may want to skip your concealer initially, do your eye makeup, come back and clean all the fallout, and then conceal under the eye. But I think for now, we're gonna do something pretty soft and not as dramatic, so I don't need to do that preparation. So I'm gonna start out with the new eyeshadow palette, which you see here. It comes with two applicators, which make it really easy. There's a brush tip and the sponge tip applicators, which are much more useful than you may think. And this palette is called Oiseau de Nuit, which is the bird of night. I'm gonna start out with the lightest shade in the corner, which is sort of a pearly white tone, using one of the sponge tip applicators. Just close your eyes for me, darling. I'm just gonna smooth this all over Abby's eye area, starting from the lashes and going all the way up under the brow. Now the next step is to take the gold color in the other corner, and on your applicator there's a brush opposite from the sponge. So just close your eyes for me, darling. I'm gonna just pop some of this into the crease of Abby's eye, and then if Abby, you look up for me, I'm gonna smolder under the eye with the same goldy shade. It doesn't need to be perfect, doesn't need to be too tidy, just brush it under the eye like so. The next step, I'm going to use this very soft gunmetal gray, taking again my sponge tip applicator, or you can use a Chanel eyeshadow brush, something a little smaller because we're going to get into the crease in the outer corner of the eye. So just go ahead and close for me, Abby. So just here in the outer corner, it's almost like you leave yourself a nice little flick. That gives some really pretty shape to the eye. And then let that shape continue into the crease, just like so. Next, we're gonna blend that little shape. So I've taken the other applicator that has a little brush on the end, and just very softly blend into the crease. But now, Abby, I want you to open your eye. Be really careful when you're doing an eyeshadow shape, a contour, because if you do everything with your eyes closed, once you open your eyes, the shape is totally changed. So once you've laid the product down, take a look in the mirror and really check that the shape is working for you. If you're trying to give yourself the look of more of a deep set eye, you really need to have that color and contour into your crease. So take the time to blend at this point. This is the most important. Now, if you look up for me, Abby, I'm going to take that color and continue it just very softly underneath the eye. Now just drop your gaze a little bit for me, love. Just drop your gaze. And then blend. Now I'm going to sort of blend everything together. So taking this very soft, it's almost like a silvery, pearly gray with a large eyeshadow brush, and I'm just going to blend everything together. It's quite soft, it's quite easy to work with. So just a top of what I've done. This will throw off a very interesting amount of light to the makeup. And considering this is Christmas time, and you're going to be in some events that are candle lit or well lit, you have to always consider what your makeup's going to look like in that light. Now the next step for me is the eyebrows. I do believe that whether your eyebrows are intense, well defined, or just tailored, or even bleached, they really hold center court for an eye makeup. So for me today on Abby, I'm going to use one of the sculpting eyebrow pencils from Chanel, and there's a little brush on the end, which makes it really easy to brush the hairs up and just fill in where needed. I think that the level of eyebrow determines the finish of a makeup. So if you go too intense, then basically your brows, they enter the room before you do. So you need to be quite careful. So I come in at the arch of the brow first and give a little bit of color and blend it in and sort of soften things out with the brush on the end of the pencil. Make sure you keep checking all your angles. You can always add more, but it's pretty tough when you're doing a brow and you've done a great eye makeup and you've gotten too intense and trying to take it down, you sort of ruin your whole makeup. So blend as you go, and if needs be, if you want to give yourself a little bit more drama, you can come out here and lengthen the tail of the brow. Everybody's brows are quite different. Sometimes a brow is better sculpted with a powder or a pencil. A powder will give you a softer effect, and a pencil just gives you a little bit more definition. The next thing I'm going to do is curl Abby's eyelashes. I think a lot of people underestimate the power of a good lash curler. So whether your lashes are short or long, blonde or dark, take a good eyelash curler and just get the curler as close to the roots as possible. And then just release the lash curler very carefully. Make sure you never do this with mascara on your lashes already. Next up is the mascara step. I'm going to use the Le Volume mascara in black, or noir on Abby. Make sure you get the mascara as close to the root of the lashes as possible and turn the mascara wand, get all the product off of it that you can before you reload it. Do your roots first and then come in and look straight in that mirror, so look at me, and detail the tips of the lashes. But starting out at the root ensures that you keep that really good curl. So the next step, I'm going to warm up this eyeshadow. Most of the shades are really cool, so I'm going to bring a little bit of warmth to Abby's eyes. She has lovely gold flecks on the inside of her blue eyes. So I'm going to pick up a shadow in the Illusion d'Ombre category, which is a cream shadow. And this particular one from the new collection, En Vol, is a really warm, peachy shade. You can use a brush that it comes with, but I sort of really like my fingertip. So take the product on your ring finger and then just tap it underneath the brow and this part of the eye. It'll not only warm up the eye space, but it'll also really highlight that bone structure under the brow. Now I'd like to skip to Abby's lips. I sort of feel like we've got the eyes almost all the way done, and I want to balance out the face. I'm going to choose a new red, and that is the Rouge Allure Velvet in La Flamboyante. I think a really modern way of doing a red lip is not with a lip brush, not perfect, not even with a lip liner. I sort of like smudging it in with my fingertip. Almost appears more like a stain than it does a proper red lip color. What you can do is come back with a brush and intensify any of the peaks or the corners. Just open for me, darling. So take your lip brush, come in just to the corners, and give yourself a little bit more shape. But again, the whole idea is not to have this look too perfect and too defined. So now we have a really modern version of a red lip on Abby with a beautiful matte finish. Now it's just the final tweaks. So I'm going to come in to the apple of Abby's cheeks. I'm using the new Jus Contraste blush, and this new shade is called Caress. There's beautiful gold flecks in the undertone, but the overall shade is very peachy and warm. Just smile for me, darling. So just brushed onto the apples of the cheeks. I quite like the little brushes that come with the Chanel Jus Contraste. They're a beautiful cut, so the product always blends on really nicely. Now for the final touches, a little bit of highlighting. There's a new long-lasting formula in the eye pencils, and the color is Or Blanc, or white gold. So Abby, if you just look straight up for me. This is a water-resist, waterproof product, and it looks really great here in the very inner corner or the tear duct of the eye to just really open things up. You see that? Perfect. Depending on the light you're going to be in, just look down for me, Abby. I'm going to pop a little bit of this in the center lid just to throw a little bit of light. It does really great things in a candlelight environment. The last step in highlighting and perfecting the face is with the new highlighting powder. It comes with a great little brush that has a perfect angle on it. So take the product here and highlight the portions of the face that are the highest. In other words, on top of this cheekbone here, center of the nose. Don't forget the Cupid's bow. Depending on your chin, you may want to highlight there as well. And just above the very center of your brow. So that's our finished look, the Christmas 2014 Chanel makeup collection on Abby. As you can see, lots of highlights, beautiful smoldering shades around the eyes, and a very modern matte red lip.